Hello everybody, my name is Sammy and thank you so much for clicking on this video. One day I was going through HBO Max looking for a movie to watch and, trailer hopping, as I'm sure most of you have been through before, and I came across a very strange movie that I thought I would react to because I watched the trailer and dear God, I was a little startled. So this movie is called The Lure and it is a Polish horror musical film from 2015. I have only watched the trailer as of this moment in time, but I thought that I would check out the movie with the rest of you guys because, dear God, the trailer just left something to the imagination. Basically, it's going to be about two twin sisters that are sirens. From what I can tell by the trailer, they both become strippers at a club. They sing and they get naked. They're both very creepy looking. They both have like a blankness to their eyes. I don't know how to explain it, but that's one of the biggest things that caught my attention was how disturbing they looked. As well as their teeth. They remind me of rat teeth. Like they're kind of yellowish and I'm just like, I'm a little disturbed. So we're gonna check it out and hopefully it's not as disturbing as it looks. Hopefully we are in for a treat. Dear God, do I have shit to say? What the fuck was that? Alright, let's just get right into it because I don't know what the fuck I just watched. Oh my God. Okay, so basically the movie starts out and we are introduced to the two sisters watching a family from the water. We don't actually ever find out if they're actually family, but I'm just taking a wild guess. Okay, so first of all, the man that they fall in love with, his hair is shaggy as hell for the entire movie until the end. How does he even see? I don't know. So I just want to point out that these ladies don't even really look like sisters, but why not? My point still stands. Their eyes scare me. The more I watch, the more I realize that that was on purpose. All of the mermaid creatures have just black eyes. So that's intentional, but they did their job. It scares the hell out of me. Basically, the family sees the sirens on the shore and they're like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? And they take them to their club, their strip club, and they introduce them to the owner, and the owner is creepy as hell. Good God, this whole movie is just creepy. I don't understand. So we get introduced to what the mermaids look like as a whole, and let me just say their tails are eel-like. They don't have the fins like normal mermaids do, and I've never seen a twist on mermaids like this before, so that was definitely interesting. And they also added the fact that when they are transformed into their human form, they don't have regular human genitalia, which I thought was an interesting twist as well, but it also becomes one of the main plot points to this movie, which I did not expect at all. It felt a little out of touch to have this movie be a musical. There's several musical numbers. Honestly, once I get used... Hello, the sun just left. Please excuse me. I want to say it was completely out of left field in the very beginning. Like, everyone just breaks out into musical dance numbers and song, and I'm like, okay then. All right. So I think the biggest thing that still confuses me after even finishing the movie is that in the beginning, it's like if they dry up, just put more water on them. And then the sirens are in the room with the owner of the club for like 15 minutes and they come back and they're on the floor like drying up or something. Like they act like they're dying and everyone's like, oh my God. And so they throw them into the pool, right? And then they're fine. This is the only time that ever happens in the entire movie. Suddenly they're just free to walk around and be human for as long as they want and be dry for as long as they want. And it just, I don't understand what any of that meant. So I'm gonna be honest, and I'm probably gonna say this again later, but I do not have a single clue what is going on throughout almost the entirety of this movie. I still cannot comprehend what I just watched. The ending makes more sense, okay, but like for the first hour, I'm just like, what is going on? I don't understand. Okay, we get into it. Another interesting feature that they added about the lore for these mermaids is that they communicate just like dolphins or like with echo, whatever it's called, echo. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, they basically can communicate without humans hearing them or understanding them. So that was really interesting. I thought that was a cool little added fact. The dancing is super out of sync. It just screams beginner. Like they do not know what they're doing. They've never practiced. Super off-putting at first, but then I realized, you know, the sirens have never done this before, so it fits. You know what I'm saying? It's super like confusing at first because everyone else in the show just has like super, like they all have musical numbers and they're all moving in a group and like doing their thing, and then the sirens go and dance and they're just like, it's super weird, but it's fitting. The old lady in the movie is super strange. Like, she just gives off weird vibes. And also, I want to say, all of the characters, first of all, I don't know any of their names, except for the 2 sirens. I don't know anyone else's name. I'm gonna be completely honest. And the family, all these characters, they don't have much of a loving personality. None of them really shine through. They're all kind of bland. And I'm so confused the entire time. It's like they act like they have an attachment with these 2 sirens, like they've just taken them in, and suddenly they're all just a big family. And they keep referring to the sirens as kids, which is weird to me because their tits are out all of the time, even when they're performing.
Huh?
And they also don't get paid for their work. And that was their explanation to why they don't get paid. Oh, you're just kids. And it's like, huh? What do you mean, dude? I sure hope they're not just kids. What in God's name are you talking about? Just because they're not human doesn't mean you can't pay them for their work? What? So yeah, the group is portrayed as constantly being together. This is where I assume that they're a family because they all live together and they're always together. So I'm like, they must be a family then. But it does not feel that way at all. Not once. I do want to point out that this movie does a great job at portraying the sirens as far away from humans as they can without making it obvious. They're creepy even when they're not in their siren form. They're, again, their eyes, but they also make weird sounds and they growl at each other sometimes, and I'm just like, oh, good lord. So the 2 sirens' names are Golden and Silver, and the first time that Golden kills someone, it is so disturbing to me. She just wiggles her way out of the car with the guy's heart in her mouth and just wiggles her way to the lake. And oh my god, their tails are so freakishly long. I can't. It's disturbing. So I was super scared that I was about to watch a man screw a mermaid, but luckily that did not happen. Huh? What? 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 Hey, whoa! So the guy tells her that he sees her as a fish and he just simply cannot get over that, so he's not gonna screw her. Thank God. It's implied that they have some fun under the water, but thank God nothing is shown. Obviously they don't do the deed because, you know, he just said he's not gonna do that. But this leads us to one of the main conflicts of the movie, which is the fact that Silver, who is in love with this human man, wants regular human genitalia so she can be with him, basically. I will explain more of later as we get further on into this movie. Pardon the intrusion. My camera died, so sorry if the lighting looks a little different. Also ignore the laundry basket I started cleaning while I waited for it to charge. We move on. So, I have to say that the music in this movie is good. Actually, it's pretty, it's a bop, okay? Nothing that I would listen to on my iPod Shuffle, but so yeah, the music's actually good in this movie, but the dancing portions are weird as hell. This movie is so trippy. Oh god.
What the fuck? No!
And I just never understand what the hell's going on. They kept showing some clips of a man that's nearly bald. He's got like spaghetti strings for hair, I swear. And he's got scars on the top of his head. And we keep seeing like scenes of him throughout the beginning of the movie. What the fuck is happening? Who is this? Who are you? What's going on? And it's never like shown why that is, like until he shows up in a bar talking to Golden, and then he introduces himself finally, and I really still don't understand why we were given clips of him. So we find out that he is also a mermaid, or merman in this case. He once had horns. Apparently a sailor took out one of his horns and then he ripped out the other, and that is the reason for his scars on the top of his head. And just like the sisters, he also acts kind of animalish and makes weird sounds sometimes. A little creepy. We love it. We learn a little bit more about the lore of the movie. We find out that this man, I'm sorry, I do not remember his name. So this merman traded in his tail for legs, and he has a giant scar across his belly because of it. And now he's in a rock band, and he offers Golden to come join his band. This man also tells Golden that she should look out for her sister and tells her not to let her fall in love with the shaggy-haired man because if he marries someone else, then Silver will turn into sea foam. So we got a little bit of classic mermaid tales going on right now. Silver's down bad as hell for this shaggy-haired man. Chill, girl. And I got bad vibes immediately because foreshadowing, obviously. And then things just take a wild ass turn. When I tell you this movie is a fever dream from hell, I am not exaggerating. I swear to God, I felt like I was high watching this and I'm completely sober. What the hell? Shit just hits the fan so quickly. We see the family sitting down to watch, I guess it's like a 911 show. At least it has a whole intro, so I wouldn't think it was the news, but then it turns to the news. And the dad just starts doing a little dance, and everyone's just like, ha ha ha, so funny. And I just don't understand. Family learns about the man that was just recently murdered, and that basically eaten and most of his limbs are missing, and his heart's missing. And the family all kind of like looks at each other like, what the fuck? I guess they just immediately put two and two together. Silver looks over at Golden because she's like, she knows that Golden is the one that did it, and they leave the room together. They start growling at each other, and like, they're in a little standoff. And then Silver throws Golden against the wall, and then they start singing together. I guess that was their way of making up. The dad walks in and knocks them both out cold with a punch to the face, both at the same time. What? And I guess this leads the family to thinking they're dead, or I think they think they're dead because they wrap them up in carpets and then throw them off a bridge into the lake. So shaggy-haired guy pukes because I guess he couldn't handle the thought of dumping his girlfriend. This is when shit gets so fucking weird that I don't even know how to really explain what happens. I still, after watching the movie, I do not understand how to comprehend or what this had to do with anything. I don't understand. So basically, the family gets in a scuffle, right? I'm assuming over the disposal of the sirens, but it's never really explained why they're fighting. Shit gets intense. And the mom gets punched in the head by the dad and her ears start ringing and shit. Cuts to the sirens walking out of the water and they just attack some civilians. For no reason, they just eat their hearts. And then it cuts back to the family and all of them, the fucking house torn to shreds, shit everywhere. They're knocked out, all of them. It looks like they're dead almost. Like the dad is just strewn out on the couch, his eyes are wide open, he looks dead. The son is curled up on the couch, his eyes are kind of like rolled up into the back of his head, he looks dead. The mom also is just staring off, you can't even tell if they're breathing, right? She also looks dead. And then the singer from the very beginning of the movie walks in and she starts singing some bullshit that I don't even remember. She has 3 IVs with her and she goes around the room giving the IVs to the family, and then they start singing and the room gets really bright and they're all fine now. I just cuts to them back in the club, just walking, getting ready to go perform. And I just don't understand. What was the point of that? What does that mean? Did the IV revive them? Why were they given IVs? Why did they die? What? Why did the singer come in and just... I don't understand. I'm sorry. I've tried so hard in my little brain to understand and piece together why this happened or what any of this meant, but I don't know. I don't know. So then the sirens make their way back to the club. They walk on in and Silver just walks up to her shaggy-haired love interest and gives him a hug. And he hugs her back and I guess they're just so happy to see each other. And Golden walks in and the dad walks up to her and he's all like, oh, I want to apologize. And she's like, we're not mad. And then proceeds to bite his thumb off, which I almost threw up. I'm not gonna lie, that was disgusting. And I guess it's all kumbaya now. So we just move on from that whole thing. I thought that this was the climax of the movie. It's supposed to be a horror movie, right? So I thought it was all the way up there and I was like, okay, so now that they have betrayed them, they're going to turn on them and just kill them all, in a creepy siren massacre type thing, right? Wrong. That is not what happens at all. We just move on from that whole situation as if it never even happened. And Silver continues her love story with Mr. Shaggy-haired man. She offers a man at the bar her tail, saying that she's going to remove it and that she thinks that he wants it, and he says that he doesn't, and then they just move on. Like, the scene is never further looked into. Like, I don't really get that part of it, like, because the lady that she ends up swapping legs with was never introduced, like, at all. So, what was the point? Okay. Cut right from that back to Golden, who's at concert venue, meeting up with Mr. Merman for his concert. Wow. What a masterpiece. And she starts singing, and she honestly sucks at it. I'm not gonna lie, she's got a beautiful voice, but metal is not her thing. The merman seems to agree because he just straight up says, you need more practice afterwards, and she does not seem happy about that at all. Also, at the end of the concert, the merman literally bites the head off a bird and like spits it out and then throws the bird's bleeding corpse into the crowd, and the crowd goes wild. So I don't know what kind of fucking concert this is, but the crowd's just totally fine with it? What the fuck, dude? So then we move on, and Silver quite literally has her tail cut off. And this scene was very startling. I'm gonna be completely honest. This scene, it was hard to watch. It was weird. So both her and this other woman, basically they cut them in half, and their bowels are just they're on a bed of ice, both of them. And they're both awake for this procedure. So they both get cut in half, and then they just get sewn back up. The lady gets Silver's tail, and Silver gets the lady's legs. I don't know how the fuck that works. Okay, I don't think that's possible. But even if it isn't, who am I to judge in a movie about sirens? So it was warned for some reason that if Silver got rid of her tail, she would lose her voice. I guess the merman didn't lose his voice, but I don't know. They just don't really explain that. Like, why the merman got to cut off his legs or his tail and not lose his voice, but she does lose her voice. I don't know if it has anything to do. I don't know. I don't know what it means. I'm gonna be completely honest. Much of this movie is not explained. You just gotta try and figure it out as you go. So Silver loses her voice. She now has human legs, which also means she has human genitalia, so she has a wussy. She practices walking with her new legs, and may I just point this out, that she did all of this for her man, which I'll be damned. She has known this man. It's unclear what the time period in this movie is, but she wants to sleep with this man and be with him so badly that she chops off her tail so that they can have sex. And I already had that bad sour taste in my mouth. I knew exactly where this was going. And I said, I swear, if this man leaves her, I'm gonna lose my shit. And you know what? They try to get it on. Like, she's still in a wheelchair, like, obviously still recovering from the surgery. So she undresses, and you can see the wound is still clearly healing. There's still some blood on it and everything. And they start getting it on. And again, I don't know what the hell is going on. So basically, he looks disturbed, and they just kind of look at each other, and not even 2 minutes later, we get a scene of shaggy-haired dude kissing another woman. Ew, I'm gonna vomit, dude. I'm for real right now. I'm gonna vomit! Ew, what an evil bastard! And then, as if just to get it all over with, we're suddenly at their wedding. At some point, Silver had given one of her scales to shaggy-haired man, and he carried it around everywhere with him. And while he was kissing this other woman, he just reaches into his pocket and tosses that bitch out like, okay, fuck you. What a piece of shit, just because, why? So they get married, and if you remember from before, if Mr. Shaggy-haired man marries another woman, then Miss Silver is going to turn into sea foam and cease to exist by daybreak. So, Mr. Merman tells Silver that she needs to eat him before daybreak, otherwise she will turn into sea foam, and to avoid that happening, she has to eat him. Again, she lost her voice, so she can't really express her thoughts, so we can't tell if she's gonna do it or if she's not gonna do it. And then Golden also tells her, like, hey, eat him. And she walks her ass all the way up to Mr. Shaggy-haired bitch ass, and and she hugs him, and he hugs her back, and they start like kind of doing a little dance. What a piece of shit. I hope she digs into him right now, like a chicken strip. Do it! Do it! Golden is watching from like afar. You see Silver's teeth come out like she's clearly about to eat this man, and then she realizes that she can't do it, I guess because it's the man that she loved. Oh. No, I'm gonna cry! Not over this weird movie, please! I don't want to! No! Oh my god. Even though he like tore her heart out and slammed it against the floor a million times, fuck all that, I guess, because she just cannot eat him. So she turns to 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬, and Golden sees this happen. She screams out in agony and just hops on top of this guy as he's, confused as to why he's now covered in sea foam. And in his confusion, he looks up, gets tackled, gets his neck ripped out, and Golden runs away into the ocean or the lake or whatever, wherever she came from. And that is the end of the movie. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know what I just watched. None of that resonated with me at all. It might give me weird dreams after, I'm not gonna lie. What a strange cinematic piece to be made. And so many boob shots. So many. Which, it's fine. They're just nipples, but just... now I have to censor all of this footage. So, thank you for that. What a strange movie. I don't understand. Also, can I just point out the fact that HBO Max's description for this movie is that two sisters fall into a love triangle when they fall in love with the same boy? At what point throughout this entire movie it is never revealed that Golden, the sister Golden, also loves this shaggy-haired man? Not once. Maybe in the beginning, when they were both like, ooh, man. But she continues to go throughout eating people, and while Silver is just infatuated with this man. It's not like once implied that Golden has any feelings for this man, and then at the end she doesn't even hesitate to rip his neck out. So, incorrect? Incorrect. There's no love triangle here. There is no love triangle. This movie was a wild ride, and if you want to go on it, be my guest. It may be a fun movie to watch while you are under the influence of some kind, because, good God, does it make you feel like that already? I had no idea what the hell was going on half of the time. So, thank you guys so much for coming on this adventure with me. This was absolutely crazy. This is my first time ever doing a movie review, so I hope it was not confusing. I am chronically known to be actually awful at explaining things because I just jump around and I forget details and stuff, but I tried my best. I wrote notes throughout the movie so I could keep my little noggin in check. And so, here we are. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for 100 subscribers. This is so cool. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and I hope to see you guys in my next one. Bye!